Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, July 15th from the San Antonio Express News. My name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. The heat wave will begin to taper off today. You can expect sunny skies and a high of about 103. San Antonio and Bexar County officials reported on Tuesday that 6 more people have died from COVID-19 and 854 more have tested positive for the coronavirus. Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf says, quote, "We're in the worst of times right now. I believe these next 2 weeks are going to be absolutely critical if we're going to contain this. Without your support, we are not going to get out of this." Bexar County officials and leaders of the Deputies Sheriff's Association of Bexar County will hold their 4th public meeting this week in talks aimed at renegotiating a 4-year collective bargaining agreement set to expire on September 30th. Scott Huddleston has all you need to know about Friday's meeting at expressnews.com. And now, let's move on to the top stories of the day. A top medical advisor to Governor Greg Abbott said Tuesday the state's coronavirus surge is rampant enough to warrant lockdowns in at least 3 of the hard-hit regions. In an interview, Dr. Mark McKellen said Texas is not meeting key requirements that would need to be in place for a safe reopening, especially with the school year set to convene next month. Those requirements include declining cases and adequate hospital capacity. On Tuesday, Texas reported a record 10,745 new confirmed infections, and the hospitalizations climbed to a new high of 10,569. Abbott again refused Tuesday to issue lockdowns. Jeremy Blackman has more on this story at expressnews.com, and you can find a link to that article in the episode's description. Opposition has been growing to last week's state mandate that schools must provide in-person learning 5 days a week for families who want it. The rules give school districts some flexibility, including the option to go fully remote for the first 3 weeks of school. After that, they would have to offer in-person instruction or risk losing state money. The San Antonio Coalition on School Reopening, led by teachers' unions, but also includes students and community organizations, called Tuesday for the first quarter or 9 weeks of the school year to be taught fully remotely. The San Antonio Independent School District would push for the first day of school back 1 week to August 17th, and Harlandale ISD is considering an August 24th start. Alia Malik and Krista Torava talked to several local education leaders to find out the latest details. Despite soaring temperatures and a resurgent pandemic, Bexar County voters turned out Tuesday for the primary runoffs that had been delayed by almost 2 months. Most wore face masks and a stubborn few didn't. Some leaned left, others right. All came to exercise their responsibility as citizens of a democracy. Elections Administrator Jacques Callen said, "We are strongly recommending face masks for the voters, but we cannot mandate them. As always, there are issues that arise at individual polling sites, but our teams are at the ready to remedy any problems." Jack McCormick has a look at what it looked like in some of the 214 local voting centers. The new world of flying means wearing masks, drinking water because it's the only beverage offered, and also having no middle seat next to you. At least that was Randy Diamond's experience flying recently on Southwest Airlines, which is selling only 65% of its seats through September 30th in order to keep the middle seat open. Until earlier this month, Diamond hadn't flown since the pandemic erupted. Like so many other frequent flyers, he stayed grounded because of the fears of catching coronavirus. Randy Diamond explains in his latest column why his trip didn't exactly ease his coronavirus concerns. To keep our readers up to date on the path of COVID-19, the Express News built a dashboard of interactive graphics showing the spread of the coronavirus in the San Antonio area, in Texas as a whole, and across the United States. You can find a link to that dashboard in this episode's description. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside your Express News subscription. You can find a link to the election results at the link in the description. A state lawmaker is pressing the Texas Department of Criminal Justice for answers after hundreds of inmates tested positive for COVID-19 at the Dominguez State Jail on the southwest side of San Antonio. As universities welcome students back to their campuses next month, the Texas A&M system will provide COVID-19 testing kits to all 11 of its institutions. After a unanimous vote Tuesday, the Ranger will no longer be the mascot of the San Antonio College. The college will embark on a search for a new mascot. There are about 3.3 million students who participated in the free or reduced price school meal plans across the state last semester, but thus far only about 2 million of those students have benefited from the extra food money. The deadline to apply is July 31st. The San Antonio Board of Realtors reported on Tuesday that 3,823 homes were sold in the San Antonio New Braunfels metropolitan area last month. That's a 14% increase over June of last year. Corpus Christi officials are asking people from San Antonio and other Texas cities to stay away from the coastal community as it battles a wave of COVID-19 infections. Columnist Chris Tomlinson writes about the Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden's promises of a new vision for the United States economy, but his plan has a decidedly retro flavor that harkens to his party's most ambitious leaders. Tim Duncan will not be going to Disney World, and it's just as well. The theme park already contains a character who's been through the looking glass and back. Sports columnist Mike Finger explains why we might have seen Duncan on an NBA sideline for the last time. This week, Essays Common Critters series takes on squirrels. Some folks, such as Kate Boysen, love watching those cutesy furballs scamper about and whip their dogs into a barking frenzy in the backyard. But then there are those who just can't abide hide nor hair of the rascally vermin, especially those that scurry across their homes or neighborhood streets, and of course around their bird feeders. Renee Guzman has more in our weekly look at animals we see more of in San Antonio as we hunker down during the pandemic. Local artists Ana Fernandez, Gary Sweeney, Ricky Armendariz, Cruz Ortiz, and Jennifer Ling Datchuk are among the artists whose work have been turned into puzzles. For every puzzle that is purchased, another is donated to Meals on Wheels. Folk singer Sarah Harroz comes home to the Texas Hill Country on her new album, World on the Ground. Guest of Honor, a new movie with Luke Wilson by director Adam Egoyan, leads a roundup of what's now available to rent at home. Delia's Tamales says it will not be cooking frozen products at the upcoming San Antonio location, clearing up some confusion. Coach Greg Popovich is doing his part in coaching San Antonians through a game plan to keep each other healthy during a surge of COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations that are straining the local health systems. And that's all for today. This is your Express Briefing. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside your Apple Podcasts app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful day, everyone.